Want to see the MLB Network rankings, top 10 relievers right now, according to their shredder or whatever thing they do. Josh Hader is not on the list. Robert Suarez, not on the list. Let me pull up for you this top 10 relievers list. Edwin Diaz is number 1, which, okay, yeah, had a great year. He just signed that big extension. Yeah, that makes sense. Emmanuel Clase is number 2. Okay, makes sense. Devin Williams, very talented. Evan Phillips, I could buy that he's a top 10 reliever, had a really good 2022, but I don't know about number 4. Yohan Duran with the Twins, very talented. Ryan Presley, yep. Andres Munoz, Padres fans, we know how talented he is. Liam Hendricks, wishing him well with his fight with cancer. Really hope he, beats that battle. Okay, yep. But then 9 and 10, Jason Adam of the Tampa Bay Rays. Jason Adam, two last names, or two first names. One of them is his last name. Never heard of this guy before. He did not have a good 2021 with the Cubs, had a great 2022 with the Rays. So he's a top 10 reliever for having one good year. But Josh Hader, who's been doing this for how long? Since like 2017? He had a couple bad months this past year, so his ERA looks bad. It's over 5 for 2022. But he was an all-star in 2021. He was an all-star in 2022. He did not allow a single run in the postseason. He struck out his last 8 guys that he faced in the postseason. So because the numbers look bad, because he had some really, really bad outings in 2022, he's not a top 10 reliever in baseball? Come on now. Come on. To me, this is where it's like, okay, whoever made this list, even if it's numbers, like it doesn't feel like they dove into the numbers enough. Josh Hader, it took him, I don't know how many appearances this is, but if you look at his game logs from this past year, he didn't allow a run until June. Did not allow a run in the month of April. Did not allow a run in the month of May. And then there was a lot of 0, 1 run allowed, 1 run allowed, 1 run allowed, 0, 3, 6. So yeah, there were some bad outings of 1 inning of work that really inflated the ERA. But he then worked on his mechanics. He found himself August 31st against the Giants, right? When Bob Melvin put him in, and the fan base was really, really worried, probably, right? Like, oh no, Josh Hader's closing this game. He just sucked against the Kansas City Royals, August 28th, gave up 6 runs. Comes in, doesn't give up any runs, and then from there he gives up 1 run the rest of the season. The whole month of September, he gave up 1 run. Did not give up any runs in October for the rest of the regular season. And then if you go look up his postseason numbers, 2022, wild card game 3, no runs allowed. Division series game 2, 1 1/3 innings, no runs allowed. Division series game 3, no runs allowed. Division series game 4, no runs allowed. Struck out Betts, Freeman, and Turner. Not a top 10 reliever in baseball, though. NLCS game 2, no runs allowed. And fans will say he should have been on the mound to face Bryce Harper. I was fine with Bob Melvin's decision because Robert Suarez was great as well. He was on that same level as Hader at that point in the season. So for Josh Hader not to be a top 10 reliever in baseball, when fans think of, if you ask fans, who are the top 10 relievers in baseball? Josh Hader is one of the first names that will be out of their mouth, right? And I know this is probably based on numbers, so who cares what the name is? It could be Joe Schmo, and maybe he's a top 10 reliever. But I just find it hard to believe that Josh Hader is actually not a top 10 reliever in baseball. I don't believe it. I looked at Fangraphs last night. The last 2 major league seasons among qualified relievers, Hader is 8th in WAR. Not a top 10 reliever, though. Robert Suarez, I understand, because it's 1 year, and he had some struggles as well, so there's not a big sample size there. But Jason Adams, a top 10 reliever, and he had one great year with the Rays. And that makes him a top 10 reliever. And Ryan Helsley choked in the postseason against the Phillies. Hader and Suarez were great. And Hader and Suarez are not, or at least Hader. I'm fine with Suarez, I guess. But Hader not being a top 10 reliever, just it doesn't matter. I know these rankings, they don't matter. But it still kind of matters to me for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's just the respect thing. Like, I want Padres relievers to get respect.